Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tips and Bricks podcast, where we discuss all things Lego and share some of the community's best tips about those bricks that we all love. Y'all know me, but my name is Clay. My pronouns are he, him. I'm one of the hosts of the podcast, and today I'm joined by fellow co-host Alex. How you doing tonight, Alex?
Hello, I'm doing well, thanks. Doing well. Winter's coming here in the UK. It's a bit colder today, hence I've got my long sleeve on. But I'm ready to record. It looks a bit warm where you are in that t-shirt. I'm a bit jealous.
Oh yeah, always much warmer here than what you have to suffer
Oh,
through. And a
indeed.
little bit warmer for me than our other guest, who we are joined by an awesome guest from our Lego community who is also a member of the Tips and Bricks team. And Elizabeth, also known as Brick underscore built underscore babe on Instagram, is a member of the West Michigan Lug, also Tricky Lug, I believe. And you contribute to that West Michigan Lug Pink City, which was awesome. Even won the best original train at BrickWorld Chicago 2025 with your Pink City train. So high off that win. Welcome to the podcast, Elizabeth.
Hi, thanks for having me. So excited to be here.
Awesome. You up to anything today? You building anything or just a quiet day at home?
I am building a Lego room at the moment.
The actual room, not like a
Wow.
room out of Lego.
Yeah. Yes. No. Organization is finally underway here.
Love it.
I don't, but
Well, I was gonna say from our end, where we just get to hear the joys of it. I'm sure the pain of going through it isn't fun, but hopefully, when all is said and done, you'll have your space for everything there.
hopefully.
Okay. So, Elizabeth, whenever we have a guest join us for the first time on the podcast, we love to get to know you with our signature question. So the Lego hobby can mean many things to different people, and we want to ask, what does that experience of Lego, what does that mean to you? What's your favorite part of the Lego hobby if you had to just pick one element?
This is a really, really hard question. Um, Honestly, it's the versatility because as an artist, I can express myself artistically. As a mom, I can hang out with my kids and build sets with them. It's also great for a behavior modification tool. So I've used it to help my kiddos and incentivize them. It's also a wonderful way to make friends and become a part of the awesome AFOL community. Um, and it's also just a great way to unwind and relax. So it's not
Mhm.
just a toy. It's something that I can incorporate in so many different aspects of my life.
It's a
I like,
very good answer. A bit of a sneaky one because I did
right?
say one thing and you
Like
managed
the
to use
variety.
versatility.
Yeah, well,
Very good.
I didn't have an answer. Like other than that, there was no way. It will change tomorrow.
Oh, very good. No, but I definitely agreed. That is the great thing about Lego, right? As you said,
Totally.
there's so many different ways to enjoy it, and yeah, versatility. Very good answer. Good answer.
And you mentioned art. I know you do art outside of the Lego medium alone. So was
Yes.
Lego like one that blossomed later, like after you had like other different artistic outlets, or is this one that you've kind of been artistic with forever?
It's been kind of woven into my whole story. Like in college, I double majored in fine arts and art history. So one of my art history classes was Chinese art history, and for my final project, I did a piece on Ai Weiwei, who is a political artist, activist from China, and he did a really big exhibition at Alcatraz of political prisoners, and the portraits were all made from Lego. So I made a portrait of Ai Weiwei for my final project out of Lego. And yes, I did Lego as a kid, and now I do it all the time, as you can see. So having kids of my own kind of really pulled that back from just like,
Mhm.
oh, I kind of dabble in this to, oh, it's everywhere. And then I do mixed media art. So it was just natural to have Lego incorporated into that somewhere.
It's so cool. And I like too that Like it's been something through, like you said, woven through so much of your life, but also you're starting to weave it through your children's lives too, where like right now maybe in some way it's a toy or a behavior modification, but I'm sure it also allows them to express themselves artistically too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They are constantly working on their next big BrickWorld build.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Amazing.
all right. Well, great introduction. We're very excited to have you here. I'm also kind of thrown back to the time when you joined the team, because if I'm not mistaken, Alex, it was you and I who were on a call with Elizabeth the first time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You.
Yeah, right. Well, this is a throwback. Hopefully, less stressful, more fun. Though, when we get to today's game, we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
before that, we can go ahead and move into our first segment. So take us there, Alex.
Brilliant. Thanks, Clay. So this season we've introduced a new type of discussion that is at the heart of Tips and Bricks content, all about tips. So in this shortish segment, we're going to discuss Lego tips for a specific topic within the speciality of our amazing podcast guest, which is of course Elizabeth for today. And Elizabeth is a champion of some of the lesser known themes within the Lego community. You did a really awesome post for Tips and Bricks about Lego Clickets, and also very knowledgeable about things like Belleville and Scala. So, for today's tips discussion, we want to talk about those sort of unique and uncommon parts that we may see as kind of out of system. Some people might even just throw them in a bin and never use them again. So, the first question, Elizabeth, is what inspires you to use these more obscure parts from retired themes?
I enjoy the challenge of it.
Mm,
I call them my weird Lego and finding interesting ways to make them connect and fit in or make them stand out because of just what they are. It's just so inspiring and challenging. For a lot of people, it's like, I use Lego pieces. I use a 1x4. I use a 2x4. I use the minifigure. For me, it's like, oh, there's this awesome clay piece, this awesome cloth piece, this awesome foil piece, or these really weird animals. And oh, that's not a standard connection. How do I make this work?
Hmm. Yeah,
definitely.
totally.
Yeah, that challenge element, I think, can be a bit off-putting because it's a bit like, oh, it's a bit like you don't want to not get stuff wrong, right? That's the joy of Lego, that there's no wrong way of doing stuff, but sometimes it can be tricky to pull off some of those connections. And
Yeah.
that's why I feel like for me, I've just kind of checked them in my bin. But I think from seeing people's like creations online, I think that's where so much creativity comes from, right? It's the
Mhm.
unexpected. We've seen it a lot with like some Lego sets and people using like frogs in unique ways, but some of those larger parts, I feel like they can really be like starting points for a mock in a sense, rather than, you're building something and looking for what you could use. Has that happened to you where you've kind of found like a really obscure part and then gone, oh, I'm going to build this because of it? Is there like a recent example of that?
Um, yes, actually, the Belleville castle I built, it all started with a clock, a
Hmm.
Lego Belleville clock piece. And I saw that and I was like, yes, I need this piece. And now I have ideas for other clock related things for those, but that was the start of the castle. It had to have a clock tower.
And that also, I'm guessing, kind of sets the scale too, because the clock is, I'm guessing it's larger than like a minifigure clock, like on a two by
Yes,
two
it's
tile.
actually behind me here, and it's quite large. Let's see if I don't know if that focused better or not. Ah,
Okay, so the Belleville clock basically was the inspiration for the tower, and then you built the rest of the castle around
yeah.
that watchtower.
Yes.
Oh,
It
cool.
started with I want Belleville. I want to have a tribute to the original Yellow Castle. So the
Hmm.
layout's all that. And then everything had to fit around this clock because I that was the piece. It had to be there.
Oh, I love it.
Fantastic. And how about you, Clay? Have you ever challenged yourself and tried to use an obscure part in a mock before?
I've tried. I don't know if I've been as successful or to the extent like of building a whole castle, definitely not. But I like you said, Elizabeth, it's like the challenge of it is kind of fun. Like where you see a part and I just want to do something different. I don't, it's not necessarily an obscure part, but I remember very early on when I started tapping into the Instagram community and like trying these build challenges. I just took the glass panel of like a window, the 1 by 6 by 5 one, and try to use that as a coffee table. So it's like trying to use the corners of it with connection points and stuff. So just playing around with like a common part in a different way, I would say is more likely what I do. Though I do have these foil clouds from the Monkey Kid Heavenly Realms set, which I actually got a review for Tips and Bricks. And I've wanted so hard to use these. I've tried using them in a habitat vertically, but they're a little tall. So I've just tried to play around with how exactly to use them. I also thought about like the backdrop of my winter village. So I'm going to play around with these a little bit more. But that's one of the stranger parts is like the foil clouds, like you mentioned, Elizabeth, cloth too. It's kind of fun to
Hmm.
play around with those non-plastic elements.
Yeah, it adds a flexibility to it that you
Hmm.
don't get with the rigid pieces.
Yeah, totally. Which, like you said, it makes it a little bit more difficult too.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about those cloth pieces as well, I was recently in Denmark at the home of Lego, the Lego HQ, and I was speaking with some botanical designers. The question I asked them was, have they ever used experimented with using cloths and foils for flowers?
Mhm.
And they give a really interesting answer. And they were like, because they're kind of in the driving seat where they can choose that shape entirely, it almost gives them too much freedom. So they prefer to use those more rigid parts,
Mhm.
which was just a super interesting answer, I thought. So yeah, I don't think we have seen
Nice.
any yet. And it sounds like we probably won't, for the
Oh.
next few years. But I think for us as mock builders, when we have to kind of play with what we're given, just like those foil parts, Clay, that it's really great to kind of, they're from Monkey Kid, they have those kind of gold tones, and then how could you
Mhm.
use that for something else? It's a really fun kind of challenge to have.
Botanicals is a good example, though, of those obscure parts because they use like shoulder armor and even, I mean, mud guards aren't necessarily a part you're not going to see all the time, but like using them as pedals rather than something that goes around the tire. So, yeah, maybe, especially for those of us who don't do this as often, just building some botanicals would be a good entry point and like, oh, here's a strange connection point or something I wouldn't have really considered using a part.
Definitely. And I think another good one is in like coral reefs. I've seen a lot of really great mocks that
Mm.
have used some really unique parts. And I just feel like you could find basically any obscure part and probably, especially if it's in a cool color, right? You could just throw that in and it'll be a coral, right?
Oh, totally.
This is actually part of why I
Fantastic.
sort all of my pieces by color instead of part, which I know a lot of people have a
Oh.
problem with it. Very controversial. But it forces me to look at the pieces within like the palette I'm working with
Hmm.
and find the right shapes and look at, this might have been for this very specific reason, but now I can use it for whatever I want because I'm able to separate myself from this is what it is to this is what it could be.
Hmm.
Mm.
That's a great way of looking at it for sure. I I would say, I mean, you're definitely going to challenge people with the sorting by color.
You don't have to
And
sort by color. I'm not saying do it, but
I mean,
for
I
my brain, it works better.
I have some parts sorted by part, and then I have color bins of like the parts that don't readily fit in those other categories. And that's one way I've also had fun with using parts is through greebling. So like I've made a
Mhm.
flag mosaic. We did a collab actually of the Tips and Bricks logo with a few other team members, and I like greebled my corner of the logo. And that's where going by color helps me so much. Like I just went in my kind of red toned bin and grabbed stuff like um the push cart. I had like a white stretcher, and sorting by color did help me in that regard because I was like, well, I just need a bunch of white stuff to greeble this part of the logo, and then was just grabbing random strange like whips and different odd things that I probably would not have found if I was sorting like going to my minifigure accessory bin or something like that.
Right. As an artist, color just really drives a lot of what I do. So it works for me.
Mm.
Love it.
That's fair. I feel like everyone's brain works in different ways, right? And I'm sure we should get our viewers to comment. Do they sort in part? Do they sort in color? I feel like it's going to be a lot more mixed than
Yes.
we maybe think.
Oh, totally.
Brilliant. Well, a final question for this discussion is, Elizabeth, do you have any tips for people if they want to start getting into using some obscure parts? In your experience, where's the best place to kind of source these obscure parts?
It's actually a mixture. So you can start by looking on secondhand sites like eBay and Shop Goodwill, Mercari. If you have an idea for a color that you're going for or a specific line that you want to try out, Bricklink. You Bricklink everything.
Brickling is a good
Yeah.
tip, especially by color, because I've done that. Like, let's say it was a minifigure I wanted to buy from a store, and then once I go in that store, I'll just click on sort by color. Like coral is one of my favorite. So I just like look at every coral part they have, and sometimes I've found a part like, oh, that's interesting, or like I've randomly bought sails from a Moana set at one point in time that I still haven't used yet, but I'm planning on using like some type of awning or something in my Lego city. So I've found a lot of success when I'm buying from Bricklink, just like randomly poking through the rest of the store to find some
Hmm.
strange parts I would have probably never run across otherwise.
I've done that a lot for Pink City and just obscure colors that are retired now.
Mhm. Mm. And I'm really jealous of the bricks and minifigure stores you have over in the US.
Mm.
Being from the UK myself, the only time I've really been able to look through like lots of secondhand Lego and handpicked parts is at some Lego conventions in the UK. I think can get like a pick a brick cup for £5. It's a really good deal, and you can just
Wow.
fill that. And usually it's a lot of basic bricks, but sometimes you do get some ones that just nobody wants. So I feel like those would be really good sources for those obscure parts. Have you also been to Bricks and Minifigures and found any of those, or does it tend to be the more kind of basic selection?
Bricks and minifigs, it's hit or miss because it obviously depends on what people have donated. And a lot of the obscure pieces that I get excited about did not, they weren't sold in the US at all. So
Wow.
I have to order them from
Wow.
overseas. So the tariffs are kind of making me cry a little bit right now and
Yeah.
shipping concerns. But I've ordered parts from Norway, I believe, is one who has quite a few. Um, Obviously Denmark, Germany. So a lot of the European countries are where I'm getting my stuff from because I just you can't find it here. And if you do find it
Hmm.
here, it is so rare that it is so painfully expensive.
Mhm. That's
That's really
interesting.
interesting, though. Yeah, the fact that when those sets were produced, Lego was probably quite big in Europe, but it hadn't made its way over to the US yet. Very interesting. Well, this has been a great discussion. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks, Clay. Yeah, let us know if you're listening at home. Firstly, do you sort by color? Do you sort by part? We want to know. But also, have you tried to experiment with using obscure parts like from Scala, Belleville? We'd love to hear about it in the comments. Okay, I'll hand over to Clay for our next segment.
It is time for our game today, which is Guess the Part. Unfortunately, I am on this side of the game after the tragedy that Adnan and I suffered through with Bethany. So, fingers crossed, y'all have a very low bar to clear for this season of Guess the Part. But as we always do with this game, there's a few specific Lego parts that I have in mind. I'm going to provide some clues for our players, and then y'all are going to do your best to be the first person to guess the part that I'm thinking of. You'll get one guess per clue. So, like part one, I'll give you, I think, five clues. So that would essentially give you up to five guesses, one per clue. Okay, cool. So play along at home and see if you can guess more quickly than Alex or Elizabeth can. And Alex, what are we going to do about the buzz sound? I can't remember what we had decided on this.
That is a good question. I think similarly to what we've done in previous seasons, basically, Elizabeth, just choose any sound to make. It can be buzz, it can be quack, it can be anything, and we'll probably just replace that in post. And if not, it will just be funny anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Quack was the first thing that came to mind, so quack it is.
You go quack, I'll go buzz. Very good.
There we go.
All right. So Alex and Elizabeth have their special sounds. Elizabeth is quack, Alex is buzz, and they will say that to let us know that they are ringing in with the guess. So we will plan on playing 4 rounds. I don't need to say all that. That's just more to us. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our first part. Actually, before I say that, I actually came up with a theme for all of the parts today. So there's one little bit of clue that you can have, and this theme is, of course, for Elizabeth. So it is pretty in pink. Every part that I will give y'all today has been produced at least in one shade of pink at some point in time. So it's been like pink, bright pink, trans dark pink, something like that. So, it might not be the most common times, so I don't want you to get locked into only thinking of pink, but as you run through the ideas of what parts there may be, just realize that this part will have come in a pink at least once in its existence.
Very
Uh,
interesting. I feel like
yes.
I'm going to be at a disadvantage here. I'd never build in pink, but
Well, you'll
I'm
see.
so
You'll
ready.
see. We may have talked about a part or two so far today, or at least a set or two that involved some of these parts. So we're
Right.
going to start with part one. And our first clue is that this part has a unique shape, has a strange number of connection points, and those include bizarre stuff like there's open studs, there's closed studs, there's anti-studs, and even more connection parts in this very uniquely shaped part.
Buzz.
All right, Alex.
I'm just going to guess with something like a slide
Ooh, great
because I feel like some
guess.
of the old slides were really big parts, right? And they definitely
Mhm.
had anti-studs and yeah,
Yeah.
that's my guess.
It's not correct, but is a great one and actually a part I considered choosing for one
Okay,
of these
interesting.
today.
In
But
another world, I would have
they do
been
have
straight
studs,
off.
they have anti-studs. I don't think most slides have the connection like where you could clip a minifigure hand or something on the side of them. But there's definitely a super unique shape and a lot of connection points, so great guess. Any thoughts, Elizabeth, before we move to clue two?
Not yet,
All
no.
right. So let's move to clue two. The original version of this part was released in 1989 and was eventually replaced with an updated version in 2015. Before it was updated, the part was only in 4 licensed themes: Harry Potter, Disney, Lord of the Rings, and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Buzz,
All right, Alex.
I'm gonna go with maybe like a boat hull. And
Ooh.
maybe I've been driven by Pirates of the Caribbean there, but going through, I'm pretty sure Harry Potter's had like a boat. Disney definitely has. Lord of the Rings, I think has. So yeah, boat hull.
One of like describe
The
the boat hull
big
to
one.
me.
So like a big one. I'm thinking like at the front of a ship, right? That's
Oh,
like
okay. Gotcha.
curved, sloped. It's got lots of connection
Gotcha.
points.
So I like your thinking, and I think Pirates of the Caribbean is a good clue, but you are not quite there, which might be a clue
Ah,
for you, Elizabeth.
I'm gonna quack and say the little rowboats.
Yes, you got it. It is you were right
no.
there, Alex. So
Oh,
close. It is the rowboat. Some other interesting parts about this is it has 36 studs, which is wild because it has
wow.
all those studs in the inside of it. And it's been used and actually since its relaunch in 2015, a lot of licensed themes. Like One Piece, it came out in that recent Pirates of the Caribbean ship again. Animal Crossing, it's been used. Of course, Disney princesses. So it's been used in a
Belleville.
ton of themes. Belleville was another one as well.
I have it in pink.
Ah,
I have one in pink from a secondhand buy, and it was from the Little Mermaid set because like there was an
Huh?
Ariel mini doll in there too. So I have a pink one as well that I have not done anything with, but
I think mine's an older pink from the Belleville Fairies set, maybe.
I think that's right. I believe that's one of the ones I had seen when I was looking at it. Talking about the conversation we just had with like obscure parts. Have y'all ever seen any, or can you think of any ways that this very unique mold could be used like other than a rowboat, which is what it's always used in official sets.
I think I have seen someone use it as a bookcase because it's got like if you turn it on its
Oh,
side, it's got a really nice kind of arch at the top, but like
Hmm.
kind of straight
hmm,
edges. So I've seen people kind of put tiles or plates to create the shelves and then just
oh,
tiles
I
as
love
books, and
that.
it's been super effective and really easy and very low on parts. And you could probably get these quite cheap as well because I
Hmm.
imagine a lot of people probably wouldn't know what to do with them. So
Right.
yeah, I definitely want to try that out now.
Love that idea. I was thinking of almost like a tree trunk because there's a lot of browns that have come in, of course. So like if it was standing vertically, there you could easily put branches on the side of it, but having that bottom of the hole like is a pretty nice organic shape that you're not going to find in a lot of other molds as well. So Elizabeth, you're on the board with one, and Alex, you were so close to it. When you
Ah,
said boat, I was like, oh, and then you said hull.
ah.
Oh,
When Chloe
I'm
said that
warming
a
up.
minifigure can grab onto it, I'm like, yes. I was so excited when I figured out that connection.
all right. So, oh, and yeah, your final clue was row, row, row your, which I mean, we didn't need that far. All right, so we're gonna go with part two, remembering our theme of pretty and pink. Clue one, despite its seemingly simple shape, this part can connect to an enormous variety of different parts. However, it is unable to connect to a traditional stud. Unlike the boat, this is a pretty simple shape, but can be used in a
Quack.
lot of ways. Go for it, Elizabeth.
Is it the little claw on the bar?
Oh, I know which one. The like that looks like a bar and has the claw on the end of it.
Hmm.
No, it is not, but that's yeah, that makes sense to me. Simple shape, lots of variety of parts, and it can't connect to a stud. You're right. Any guesses, Alex, before I throw the second clue?
So I'm thinking it can't have an anti-stud because then it would be able to connect to a traditional stud. So
Correct.
I'm going to buzz and say the old flower slash petal piece, like the one that like sticks into a
Oh, that goes
sprue.
on to this. Yeah.
Yeah,
A great guess. That is not correct either. But yeah, I
oh,
love that you're thinking of the those. I love those old school flowers, to be honest.
they're
Let's
very
click
nice.
into an anti-stud though.
Oh, they do, don't they? The old one?
Yes.
Oh, because it can. Yeah, you're right about that.
You
I
can
didn't
put them
consider
in
that.
one of the modified titles with the clips on the end.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
They did that in a Belleville set.
Everything comes back to Belleville. Love it.
Oh, very good.
All right. Part two, clue two. Many parts are named by their dimensions, like a 1 by 4 plate, 1 by 2 brick, etc. This part is named by its length and not by,
Buzz,
oh, go for it, Alex.
is it a wand?
A wand. Which wand?
Like a magic wand?
Like the ones that come on sprues.
No, the ones with the star on the end. But I feel
Wait, what? Oh, the wand with a star.
like,
I got what you
yeah, yeah,
mean.
yeah.
Oh, okay. It is not, but I love the guess.
Oh,
And I think that one, is it called bar or a wand with star or something like that? Yeah, so this one
that's
has its length in its name.
okay. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe it's some kind of bar, and I've got pink
And I
on my
don't
mind,
think
right? So I was like, a
wand.
wand could be.
All right, Elizabeth, any guesses on this one?
Is it just a bar?
What bar?
Oh, come on.
A
Which bar? It
a
has a
a four long bar.
it is the 4L bar.
Is that? Oh my God.
Alex, you looked so mad.
I'm so close.
You were
If I
so
gone with like
close.
the original wand used by Harry Potter, they
Yes.
literally use the four
Uh-huh.
out.
And that was some of the
If
other
I said
clues
three,
too.
I would have been wrong.
Oh, why didn't you say
Oh,
three? Oh,
oh,
I
so
almost did.
close.
I had to stop myself.
This 4L bar came out in 1999 as a Star Wars lightsaber. That's what it was, the only thing it was used as in that year for all the sets that it came out in. And the only pink version we have is trans dark pink, which was not used for a lightsaber. It's used like as an energy effect mainly. I believe it's Anakin's pod racer uses it, or maybe Cascano's. But one of the later clues y'all would have gotten if y'all are nailing these so quickly, was that translite blue is one of the most common colors for, of course, many of the lightsabers that we've seen it in. Oh, and there's your last clue. You were there, Alex. It was
Oh,
used as the wand in the original Harry Potter theme before we started getting the specialized smaller wands in 2018.
I've
Any
been so close both times
both
now.
times?
Oh no, wrong bait. Magic wands, no, the original ones. I can't win.
Oh.
Oh wow.
This one, I mean, I feel like we see this used in so many ways, in so many different sets. Like it's over 2,000 sets now, and I'm sure the vast majority of those are not used as wands or lightsabers or minifigure accessories. So this one, I always love like when a part was designed for a super specific use of a lightsaber and then has gone on to be used in so many different ways in many different sets. And it was in
Definitely.
Belleville, right? Yeah.
Always in Belleville.
I was actually surprised as I was doing research on some of these, and I would look at the Bricklink summary. I'm like, Belleville again? Like, how? Parts I would not have guessed were in that theme.
They used a lot of really interesting pieces.
hmm I'm gonna look at them next time I'm at. We have like a resale store near us, Atlanta Brick Company, and they have all sorts of random sets in there. So I didn't notice Belleville last time I was in there, but I'm gonna totally be looking for it this next time.
It's hard to find. I got lucky and
Yeah,
found
we'll
some
see.
on Shop Goodwill.
We shall see. You definitely have me intrigued. And then looking through the parts and saying, like, wow, they used this part in this way. That's something that I want to
Hmm.
dig more into.
I have a whole cabinet behind me filled with Belleville.
Well, now we know where to source it from in the United States. Perfect.
You'd have to pry it from the cold dead hand. Also, my 5-year-old will not part with those. She was
Oh,
the driving force there. I just started Belleville because it had cool witches.
That's always a great reason to start anything.
She thought they were great, and I just had
Love
to
it.
go with it, and now we have like all of them.
All right, so we're gonna do another part. Alex, I don't know if you want to hold your guesses and make Elizabeth go
oh.
first, or what,
I think that's the
what your
strategy,
strategy
isn't
will
it?
be. We shall see.
Um,
For our next part, clue one is there are a few variants of this minifigure accessory, and the only pink version came this year in 2025 as a slight update to an older mold. So we got a few clues in here. We know it's a minifigure accessory, hasn't been in pink until this year, and then the pink version, it's a probably most people wouldn't even notice it, but it's a slight update to a pre-existing mold. Any
I'm
guesses or?
thinking it must be maybe some kind of animal.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think what pink animals are there, especially that's been released this year.
Well, I do say minifigure accessory, so I'll let you decide whether an animal is an accessory or not
I'm
as we
thinking in
move
a
into.
CMF. As a CMF, they're
Oh,
sometimes
oh, that
included, right?
is, yeah, very true.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do clue number two then. The most common color is reddish brown, which would work really nicely in like a jungle or a forest scene. But Lego most commonly uses this part just as the minifigure accessory that it is.
Really got me stumped on this one. I'm not even just holding my guesses
Yeah, I
in
was
now.
gonna
I
say,
just
are
have
you
no
really
clue.
stumped? All right, we can move into clue three. Or Elizabeth, you look like you.
It was a hard
Okay.
one.
So we know minifigure accessory, commonly reddish brown. Lego usually uses it as a minifigure accessory. It is classified as a weapon, and there are both bent and coiled versions of this accessory. The flexible version is wielded by a carriage driver.
That
Quack.
was. Oh.
Oh, that
Is
was.
it a whip?
Is it a whip? I want to hear your guess first, Alex. I
No,
know we're
no, no,
really
I'm
like right there
letting.
at the same
Well,
time.
I literally was going to say whip, but this has not worked for me before when I've guessed first. Unless I'm like, is it a whip? I'm gonna be.
It is a whip.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we're buzzing at the exact same time too. I feel like we need to give Alex some like split points on all of
Please,
these.
You can have it. I'll let you have this
please.
one.
The
Um,
thing is, I was also going to interrupt you, but I was like, oh no, I'll let him finish. And I was like,
I was
oh,
gonna
why
say
did
it
I
looked
do
like you were
Finish
like
that?
it
starting to
wrong.
talk and then trying to be nice and not.
It's my British
Uh,
politeness. I need to just oh, honestly.
So there, of course, is the flexible whip is one that we probably have seen a lot more often where it's not coiled around, and that was one like used in a Kingdom set where the carriage driver is using it as, on a horse. I guess those are the type of people who think animals are accessories, but
Wow, okay.
we can cut this.
You've just put me in
Um,
that category. Thanks for that.
it was most commonly seen though in Indiana Jones, both the older theme and then the few sets that we saw on the relaunch of the theme. So that's why reddish brown is the most common one. And then it was used in pink in the pink bouquet of roses this year. Ooh.
Oh.
Ah,
And this
very
new
good.
mold, it's like the only one that it has, and it says it has three holes instead of one hole. So I don't have that set, but now I want to get it and like compare it to the original indie one and see if there's actual more connection points on it. But thought that was very strange that we got a pink whip, but it was only in a new mold. So
Does the accessory pin fit into the hole?
that is an excellent question. I don't think it's deep enough.
Okay.
So I would have to test that out, and maybe that can be our we'll say, check it out on our story. I'll test out my Indiana Jones whip and see what connection points beyond just the minifigure hand that can grasp it can do, because
Hmm.
there is the small hole, and we'll see if there are ways to connect an accessory to it. All right, we'll play one more round and see if Alex can take the majority of these points. Since
Come
he's been so
on.
close for all of
Come
them.
on.
All right. And if you want to interrupt me mid-clue, y'all can go for it.
Oh,
So
totally. Yep.
get over the politeness.
Everything's off the table for this one. Yeah, the gloves are off.
All right, let's go for clue number one. This is a newer part which debuted in 2020. Bright pink and dark pink are the most common colors, but there are three other colors that have existed. Not a lot to go with yet.
Hmm.
Try to think if there's themes maybe in 2020 or since, but we can move to clue two if y'all want.
Yeah. Well, give me a moment.
Oh, oh.
I feel like my mind's going to flowers, but
Okay.
flowers have to be released in more. Most common in bright pink and dark pink. Interesting.
I kept picturing the tulips, but I think those are newer than 2020.
Yeah, I think those are
Mm.
a lot of times I'll look at a part and I'm like, oh, this brand new part, and then I'll look and it's actually 3, 4 years old, so it's possible. But I want to say tulips were 2023.
Yeah. Okay. And only five colors so
Only
far.
five,
Interesting.
and two of those five were bright pink and dark pink. All right, let's
Okay.
do clue two. The part's name describes its essential purpose in all official sets across some themes like Disney, dots.
Buzz.
Yes.
Oh, oh. It could be, I think it could be one of two things.
Uh-oh.
They're related. I'm so scared Elizabeth's gonna guess the other one and get it right. Um, I'm gonna get, the like the key part that's used for like the books and like
Oh.
the
That
what's it
looks
called?
like
The
an
like
actual key.
yes. And I feel like that may have come in pink in like some Disney sets. So I'm gonna go guess the key.
The key is not correct,
Oh,
but like you're thinking, and like I said, the part's name describes its purpose.
mm.
And Disney, Dots, Gabby's Dollhouse are some of the sets we've seen it in. Do you want to guess the potential part that Alex may have offered to you, Elizabeth? Or do you have another line of thinking?
No, I'm really stuck. I think the key was a
All
great
right, that was
guess.
a great guess. So let's try clue three. Maybe you'll be confirmed in your suspicion, Alex, or we shall see. This is a modified 1 by 2 by 2 brick.
Buzz.
Alex.
Is it the like lock brick thing that you insert a key into and you turn it?
It is not the lock
Oh, come
key.
on.
But
Why'd you lead me on that,
I
Clay?
don't think that's a
Oh,
1 by 2. I don't think that's a 1 by 2 by 2 brick. But
isn't it
I'm not
usually like
sure.
a 2 by 2 tile or something?
I've
Like
never
a
actually used one of the keys, so I'm not
It goes
100% sure, but we'll look it
through
up.
a round 2x2 tile with a hole in the middle, and then there's a
Oh.
Technic piece on the inside, and that's what locks the door.
Interesting.
Oh, how
So it's my
clever.
limited knowledge of these
Right.
pink sets, basically. Oh,
And
I'm
the
relying on my 5-year-old here,
so
but
the
I'm still
full
stumped.
clue, it's a 1 by 2 by 2 brick, but the major modification to that brick is circular, and it's designed to hold something thinner than a traditional Lego part. Oh, Elizabeth looks like she might know something.
Is it the piece that holds the Gabby's dollhouse ears? I don't know what it's called.
What? Describe it to me.
It's a
oh, come on.
modified 1 by 2 by 2
Ooh.
brick. That has it's got another like piece that juts out with a channel in it, and you can fit paper or cardboard insert.
Yes, you got it. It
Oh,
is a 1 by 2 by 2 brick that's a photo holder. So it
photo
was in a lot of
holder.
these dots and like
Hmm.
Disney things, as you just described, Elizabeth, that holds ears on a Gabby's dollhouse thing. But it's especially in a lot of these photo sets, like the
Yes.
dots ones, where it's like build your photo frame, and then it just has a brick, so you can easily set a photo in that little tiny gap that's created between the brick and its modification.
I use those for texture on buildings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I have like a million in pink because I used it for a, oh, what was it? Frondantis, I think I used it. Pink
Oh,
and
cool,
aqua.
cool. Yeah. Oh, that's
Oh,
so
do you know that
cool.
wasn't even going to be my guess. It was going to be the like part you can use to hang stuff on a wall. So I
Oh,
was
yes.
miles off.
Which, I mean, that would also have been a great concept because of the
Um,
idea of its name telling you what it does.
That one,
Yep.
exactly, Elizabeth, yeah. I just feel like Clays, that was a great round, a great theme, but it was completely rigged against me. I know nothing about pink parts, and Elizabeth is the pink queen. I
Well, I will say I did the 4L bar specifically for you because I
did
was
well,
like,
thank
there's going to
you.
be like some Disney, some other thing in here. Let me throw Alex a Star Wars one, but
And I even
you
failed at
overdid
that.
it. You
Oh,
went
I was
wand,
like, I need
too
to get into
specific.
Elizabeth's head and like think Belleville Scala, and like my sister had one of the like one of those sets which literally had a character with a wand, so my mind just went to that and I got distracted. No, it
Well, it
wasn't my
was very
game. Fair
fun.
play, Elizabeth. Well done.
No, it was
One
great.
fair and square.
that was super fun. I think I had a little bit of an upper hand because of my extensive studio and bricklink use.
I always feel like I know nothing when I'm the person guessing. So I will say, Alex, you did way better than I. Like Bethany was giving us 14 clues before we could get there. So at least you were in the ballpark. So definitely you were not like the lowest of the guess the part
I
participants
would
this
not have
season. That's
gotten the
all
bar
me.
without you.
All right.
Teamwork, then teamwork.
Well, thank y'all for playing Guess the Part with us today. And we also want to hear from y'all, the listeners. If you were somehow faster than Alex and Elizabeth today, I'll be very impressed because they were knocking those out with just a couple clues. But we would love to hear how you did. If any of these parts being in pink surprised you, let us know and check out some of our recurring favorite Brick Friday posts where we really dig deep into like parts, their appearances, their colors, great parts usage and mocks, and check out those recurring posts. And as always, tune in for future episodes of more fun rounds of Guess That Part.
Fantastic. Thanks, Clay. Okay, we're going to head into our final segment of the episode then, which is our question of the week. And today's question of the week is, what are the challenges and joys of building with others? So, Elizabeth, you were part of a few different collabs at BrickWorld Chicago, including your lug's amazing Pink City. All three of us also brought buildings for our team collab of Tipsonville too. So we've all experienced some level of build collaboration. So for the question, what are the challenges and joys of building with others? Elizabeth, let's start with you. What are your initial thoughts on this?
For joys, it's being able to bounce ideas off of each other. Because what
Hmm.
starts as a like vague, general, I might do this, after a conversation, I can just I've got a much clearer vision of what I'm doing. And the challenges can be artistic differences, definitely, as well as I think proximity can be
Hmm.
a bit of an issue if you're not working with a lug in your town, then um, you can run into some miscommunication issues.
In Pink City, that is like an ongoing collab, correct? Like that's not limited to just 1 year, one convention. It's kind of something that y'all regularly participate in.
Well, WM Lug does a city at a lot of their shows, and we did um, we did a medieval club, which is where the Pink Castle happened.
Mm.
And some of the gals and I got to talking about how I wanted to put the castle in the city, and it started out as a joke, and then Pink City was born. So it goes where the city goes and really wherever multiple of us are showing because it's just so much fun to have that pink in the middle of a sea of, you've got the browns, you've got the greens, you've got the grays, you've got black everywhere. And then suddenly, like all across the hall, there's pink. There is pink. And people are just drawn to it. So we love it, and visitors tend to love it too.
Yeah,
And
that's
I guess that's one of the big tips for if you're doing a collaboration is like have something that kind of is that golden thread throughout it, or like, or for
mhm.
your pink city, I guess, right? Like people could just build something pink. That's quite an inclusive theme. It doesn't matter what it is. They could build like you built a train, you built a castle, you built buildings, lots of different things, right? And I think in our Tips and Ville collab, the thing that kind of tied everything together was we had Rob, the team member who kind of organized the collab. He brought along the road plates and even created like a curb, like a little forest before, like in front of it, and that just meant that it was all very uniform. So we all built a variety of different buildings, and they all kind of slotted in, but that really helped tie it together. Can we think of, are there any other tips you guys would say for running those successful collabs and kind of maximizing the joys of building with others?
I mean, I think for me, just being inclusive is so important. It's like
Mhm.
what you just said too about the Pink City. Like, you want there to be some level of standards, but also make sure that people feel welcome. Like, not so many rigid standards if it has to be exactly this size or this height, where I feel like a lot of people just be discouraged from that at the beginning.
Mhm.
I know last in 2024, our Tips and Bricks collab was habitats, and that was part of the idea. It's like something pretty small, something that even our virtual people who couldn't show up were able to submit designs, and those of us showing up like physically built their virtual designs. So I think if you want to have a successful collab, like you do need to have that thread that ties it together, like some level of standard, so people aren't just bringing like completely bizarre things that don't even connect together. But having the standards be welcoming enough so that people really feel encouraged to participate and partake.
Yeah, I think those connection points especially are very important because I've been part of collabs where we do run into issues with, oh, this is on a base plate, this is on plates, this is on mills plates, this is just a building. So you have to have some kind of structure, and then I think the freedom within the structure is really important. Like, as long as this connects at mills height or this connects at plate height, then go with it.
Mhm.
Cool. Do what you want to do. Be yourself and we'll make it fit. I remember asking, they were doing a zoo collab and I'm like, unicorns. I know they're not real, but unicorns. So I had the zoo standard and then I got to build my ridiculous unicorn and Pegasus habitat.
I love that.
Yeah, I think that's why I love my lugs so much. Tricky lug, WM lug, they're always like we need it to fit together, but you can be your wacky self to your heart's content, and we're gonna make this work. So then you can take, little pieces from what I built and little pieces of what the other members built, and we find ways to incorporate them all around the build so it does tie together.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where if you use like digital tools, that can really help with that planning, whether it's just having like a spreadsheet to track what everyone's bringing. So I think Rob used that to make sure he brought enough road panels for all of our buildings.
Mhm.
Or on a New Hiroshima collab I did in Manchester in the UK, actually used that to kind of coordinate who was bringing what, who would be next to who, and then the organizers used that to kind of plan out the layout. So it just meant that when we did actually all get together for the convention, it made it far less chaotic than if we were,
Mhm.
not aware what everyone was bringing, right? When you guys approach collabs, do you often kind of use digital solutions? Do you do things like Studio to, plan what you're doing beforehand and then share that with others potentially, or at least share the sizes, I guess?
I do like building digitally. I love working in studio, and especially earlier on, I did all of my planning in studio because I didn't have that many bricks, and it was like, well, I don't know what I need. So
Mhm.
starting there was nice. Then I could show progress, and then once I got more comfortable with what I was building and those that I am collaborating with started understanding that, oh, she's going to procrastinate and then it's going to come together at some point, but she will be here. Um, then I kind of started to move away from it a little bit because I do use so many pieces that aren't in Studio. So I'll use Studio to get like my structure, get my general layout going, and get an idea of where I'm going with things and what I need to purchase. And then I'll move away from that because like, I have to leave spaces for weird Belleville pieces or Scala pieces or whatever. Or I've been really into doing like more flexible things, and that is really hard to do in
Oh yeah.
studio.
Yes.
So it's really a mixture. It's great for planning when it works for what you're doing, but it does have its
Mhm.
limitations.
Yeah. And I would say
Definitely.
too, though, Studio gives you the opportunity to collaborate in real time digitally. There's that build together feature.
Yes.
So you could log in with another person. We've even done that for some Tips and Bricks calls before. And Noah was paired with Felix for one, who's in Germany. So he and I were both logged in to Bricklink at the same time, like both kind of building things collectively. So especially you mentioned proximity. Like if you don't have people that you build with nearby, there's a lot of great options to collab through
Hmm.
digital tools as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one final challenge and joy I'll throw into the mix is I feel like when you get involved in collaborations, I personally quite like the pressure of kind of people are expecting me to bring something. I need
Hmm.
to finish this build. It's not like, like people are relying on me in a sense. They could probably make it work without it, but I've told people I'm bringing this build. I need to finish it. So that additional pressure for me really helps give me that push. Whereas I'm so pressed for time usually that I wouldn't necessarily mock build. Whereas I feel like that's why I love collaboration so much. Is it's like, oh, okay, I commit to something so early on, and then a few months down the line, I'm like, oh, damn, I committed to this so long ago. I need to build it now. So for me, that's a joy, but I can also understand for some people that can be a bit of a challenge because if you kind of overcommit, um, it can be a bit challenging, and then you might have to pull out of things, or you can feel a lot of pressure, right? Have you two kind of found that to be a challenge or more of a joy for you?
Hmm.
I am a chronic overcommitter. Chronic overcommit.
Yeah.
I'm so bad about it. Because it's like, oh yeah, I know I'm doing these two collabs. Those are totally going to happen. And then along the way, especially with BrickWorld Chicago, as it gets closer, like then you hear about all these other wonderful collabs that are popping up here and there. It's like, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, I want to do that. And then all of a sudden it's like, I am running the entire convention trying to get from point A to point Z because I decided I was going to do everything.
That was
Yeah.
you this year, wasn't it? You were
I
you were
was so
running
tired.
You were
across.
everywhere.
You're getting your steps in.
Yes. So when you do collabs, do not do three high maintenance collabs that are on completely different areas in the hall because that was a bad idea.
Hmm.
I have restrained myself from overcommitting that much, fortunately. And I will continue to be
I
like,
need
I'm gonna
tips.
only do one thing, and then if I feel good with that, then we'll add more. But I mean, just as a tip for people who are collabing, I think, be realistic about your time. And a lot of
Mhm.
times you think like, oh, this is something so small I could totally throw together in a month. But if it is something that has standards where other people are depending on where yours will sit and all that, just be thoughtful. And I would always say underestimate rather than overestimate, especially if it's like one of your first collabs, because then it ends up becoming more stressful than fun.
Yes. prioritize your mental health when it comes to conventions because they're there for fun. We're supposed to be having fun. Do not overcommit to doing 1.5 million things because you don't want to let anybody down because you'll end up just letting yourself down.
Mm, good word.
Yeah, I think that's a very good note to end on. Always prioritize your mental health and make sure you're having fun doing it. So fantastic. Thank you both for sharing your thoughts on our question of the week, which has been, what are the challenges and joys of building with others? So we'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic, so make sure to let us know in the comments. Okay, I'll hand over to Clay to take us to the outro.
Awesome. Well, I feel like, I don't know, it feels like it's run so quickly today. We've just been sitting here chatting, having fun. So that's really everything we have for today's episode of the Tips and Bricks podcast. And of course, Alex, Elizabeth, thank y'all for being here with us today. Any final thoughts, current projects, collabs, any solicitations for people from Europe to send you crazy parts? What you got to wrap us up with, Elizabeth?
I will shamelessly do that. If you are sick and tired of your Belleville, if you are tired of your Scala, if you are tired of everything, just send it to me. I will find a new home for it. I will take care of it, and I will find a reason to use these.
What is that part you were waving around?
It's from Clickets. It is part of a
Oh,
Clickets
a band.
mobile. So they connect there and string pieces hang down from it with little flowers on it.
Please tell me these weren't designed for babies, though,
I
because they
don't know
seem
the
like
age
way too
range of
many little
Clickets,
parts.
but yeah, I don't know what the age range for Clickets is, but they're very tiny pieces.
Mm,
So I would recommend treating them like other Lego pieces.
And
Don't
sending them
don't
over
stick
to
them up your
Elizabeth.
nose.
Yeah, if you have babies, send me your Lego. I
Yeah,
will
it's
I
not
will
worth the
make sure
risk,
they don't
guys.
choke.
Definitely.
I'm doing you a
Health and
favor.
safety. Fantastic. Okay, and where can people find you, Elizabeth? What are your platform handles?
I am Brick Built Babe on everything. Some variation of it. If you look for Brick Built Babe, you will find me.
Perfect. And Devin, just look for the profile with the amazing bow on a minifigure or Elizabeth's head, and you'll find Elizabeth's profile.
It's the red.
Big thank you to Elizabeth for joining us today on this episode. I've had a lot of fun. And to our listeners, make sure to tune in for our next episode. And until then, you can continue the conversation with us at Tips and Bricks on Instagram and YouTube. And you can also consider joining us on Patreon, where you can just discuss loads more Lego topics with the three of us and all of the Tips and Bricks team on our Discord server. You can find the link to that in our podcast description.
And of course, if you enjoyed the episode today, we would love for y'all to rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. And like Alex said, on YouTube as well. We're continuing to build our audience there. So if y'all go over there and follow and like our videos, that will help other listeners like you find us as well. But until next time, I'll leave it there. I'm Clay with Alex and Elizabeth signing off. Happy building, everybody!
Bye. We're definitely leaving this in. Great moves, guys.